If you felt a shift in HYBE's rookie strategy this summer, you're not imagining it. CORTIS, Big Hit Music's first boy group in 6 years, arrived precisely when the label needed a fresh engine between TXT's global push and BTS's post-service ramp-up, and the details of their rollout tell us a lot about how HYBE is setting the chessboard for 2026. The headline facts are clean. 5 teens, Martin, James, Joohoon, Seonghyun, Kiyeonho, a creator-led identity, a quick 1-2 punch of a pre-release and a debut mini, and a scheduling window that threads the needle between TXT touring and the BTS comeback cycle. But look closer and you see the bigger play. CORTIS aren't just another rookie. They're a bridge product designed to hold attention and market share as HYBE transitions from BTS hiatus management to BTS world dominance sequel. Let's anchor the timeline. HYBE/Big Hit telegraphed a Q3 launch back in spring, framing CORTIS as a next-generation creator crew. That language isn't fluff. It set fan expectations that these kids would compose, choreograph, and even self-produce video. A callback to the scrappy authenticity that won Big Hit its earliest goodwill. Come August, the group fired a pre-debut drop, Go, to plant their sonic flag, and followed with the official debut single, What You Want, and the mini-color Outside the Lines on September 8th. The sequencing matters. The pre-release created a low-stakes, personality-first entry point. Then the debut EP arrived with a fuller narrative and merchandising ecosystem. That arc mirrors how Big Hit warmed global audiences to TXT in 2019, but on a compressed clock suited to 2025's short attention economy. The branding, CORTIS as a 6-letter splice of color outside the lines, is practically a mission statement. It's not a name about bigness or destiny, it's a creative manifesto. That tracks with the member set, all teenagers, all framed as multi-hyphenates, which gives fans an immediate parasocial hook. My bias produces, my bias edits. It also gives Big Hit cover to lean into behind-the-scenes content, arrangement sessions, mood boards, choreo labs, without the pushback you'd get if the concept were purely top-down. Early media days leaned hard into that promise. Even mainstream profiles position CORTIS as the self-starting next chapter from the House of BTS, and TXT rollout tactics were unusually eventized for a rookie. Beyond standard teasers, CORTIS staged a 24-hour online premiere, a full-day content block that introduced personalities, lore, and sound before the streamers were even live with the title track. That's clever calendar engineering. It soaks up fan attention during a relatively clear week on the HYBE slate, tests time zone engagement ahead of the EP, and conditions the algorithm to expect a high-volume, high-retention audience when the MV finally drops. You don't do a 24-hour tentpole unless you're confident in both the content pipeline and the traffic. And then came the first scoreboard check, Billboard 200 entry for the debut EP. Breaking into the US albums chart out of the gate is a statement. Not just a stat. It means the international scaffolding, distribution, pre-orders, US media seeding was in place from day one. For a brand new group, number 15 is more than respectable. It's proof of concept. That gives Big Hit leverage with festivals, brand partners, and global radio when they pitch the next phase. It also calms investor chatter still jittery from HYBE's regulatory headlines. Even amid scrutiny, the product pipeline can perform. So why launch now? Start with TXT. 2025 is a heavy live year for them. World tour legs, North American arenas, Europe. Precisely the kind of footprint that monopolizes internal creative resources. If Big Hit waited to introduce its rookie until TXT wrapped, the group would collide with the BTS return window and be starved of oxygen. By landing CORTIS in late summer, HYBE gives them 2 crucial quarters, Q3 to Q4, to build identity before BTS's machine roars back to full power. Meanwhile, TXT's global visibility acts as free media drag across the HYBE family. label compilations, shared playlists, and Weverse flywheels that shuttle casuals from one act to the next. It's the classic staggered pillars approach. The rookies sprint while the seniors tour, then the seniors release while the rookies tour second-wave markets. And then there's BTS. With all 7 members out of service by June 2025, the center of gravity is shifting back toward group activities. No official 2026 tour is on the books, but every industry read is the same. A major BTS return cycle is expected to define 2026. If you're HYBE, you need a rookie standing on its own legs by then. Big enough to survive the noise of a BTS rollout, good enough to hold weekly variety slots, and differentiated enough to complement a catalog that already spans boy group aesthetics from TXT to ENHYPEN to TWS, under other HYBE labels. Debuting CORTIS in August 2025 buys 12 to 16 months to mature. 2 EPs, a Japan ladder, perhaps a first US FanCon run, so that when BTS flips the switch, CORTIS is graduating from rookie discovery to solid second-line draw. Positioning-wise, CORTIS sits between TXT's conceptual maximalism and BTS's lived-in narrative pop. TXT's 2025 stages are big canvas, lore-rich, and choreographically dense. BTS's next chapter will inevitably be autobiographical as they write about service, reunion, and longevity. CORTIS, by contrast, is being sold as process forward. Kids who show their work. That opens lanes TXT typically doesn't occupy. DIY production diaries, member-directed MVS, challenge-driven shorts that look less studio and more club practice. It also lets BIGHIT cultivate a lighter-weight content cadence. Frequent, personable, lower gloss, while saving prestige budgets for the tentpoles. You can see the strategy in how quickly CORTIS leaned into relaxed YouTube bits and documentary teases in the fortnight after debut. It's a low-latency intimacy play to accelerate stan formation. A quick word on member casting and breakout bias. Every HYBE rookie needs a first-wave face, someone who triggers the early fan cam economy. For CORTIS, Keonho has been the algorithm's favorite, the it boy chatter, the fan cam loops, the athlete-to-idol pipeline narrative. That doesn't decide long-term center dynamics, but it speeds the flywheel. A loud bias drives edits, edits drive discovery, discovery drives casuals to group content where other members convert. BIGHIT's early media let Keonho surge without over-centering him in the music. Smart, because it keeps the project from looking like a one-man push. Musically, the debut EP's framing, color outside the lines, tells you they're going for genre pluralism rather than a single signature sound on day one. That can feel scattered in lesser hands, but with self-production as the glue, it reads as a thesis. We make what we live. The pre-release Go gave them a kinetic, street-level entrance. The title, What You Want, is the more radio-aimed hook that travels. The B-sides sketch out edges for future subunits and individual colors. From a market standpoint, this is the safest way to target playlist breadth while the fandom is still coalescing. One track for K-hip-hop lists, one for performance compilations, one mid-tempo for lyric stan edits. The content calendar is the other giveaway about HYBE's 2026 thinking. A rookie with a normal plan would drip a teaser week and call it a day. CORTIS ran a teaser ladder, a 24-hour premiere, then 2 release beats. Debut day, EP day, inside a month. That cadence is designed to teach the algorithm their name quickly so they can spend Q4 on brand integrations and regional showcases rather than reintroductions. If the EP's US chart entry holds through week 2, expect a late fall repackage or a digital single that leans into whichever lane popped. Dance TikTok versus vocal TikTok. Get that right, and January brings a Japan push. Spring brings a first mini tour. Summer brings either a collab single or a repackage. A classic 4-beat rookie year, concluding just as BTS cranks up its own pre-release machine. From a label portfolio view, timing CORTIS now also de-risks TXT's cycle. TXT's 2025 is heavy on touring. Their album cadence around tour windows means gaps in domestic variety presence. CORTIS can fill those lanes, weekly music shows, YouTube variety, local radio, without cannibalizing TXT's ticketing or BTS's comeback appetite. In other words, HYBE gets wall-to-wall visibility across demos. Teens and early 20s get the rookie sandbox. Late 20s/30s get the BTS are back arc. TXT keeps the global stage warm. It's the sort of coverage map you present to advertisers in Q4 when you pitch integrated campaigns. Another signal in the debut plan is the speed of English language media. Of course, none of this works if the music stalls. The good news for CORTIS is that teen producer storytelling is culturally on trend. The risk is that self-produced becomes a burden if every comeback must out-clever the last one. The fix is balance. Keep the hands-on narrative visible, but don't be afraid to plug into HYBE's heavyweight writer-producer pool when the title needs scale. BTS and TXT both evolved this way. DIY DNA intact, big song collaborators deployed at the right moments. If CORTIS follows that line, their sophomore EP can be both craft-forward and chart-capable. So what does all this telegraph about HYBE's 2026? 3 things. 1. Expect a BTS-led global year. Albums, huge stages, and the sort of docu-content that frames their first decade and a half. Keep that up through one more comeback, and the privilege narrative fades into the usual league table arguments every rising boy group goes through. In the end, Why Now has a simple answer. Because HYBE can't afford dead air between TXT's stadiums and BTS's homecoming. And because the market rewards momentum, not just moments. CORTIS gives BIGHIT a rookie that feels familiar in values, work ethic, process, sincerity, and new in texture. Gen Z production style, lo-fi personality content, speed. The debut did its job. It planted a flag, proved international readiness, and hinted at a content cadence that can actually keep up with 2025's feed.